The beast! The bronze beast in the darkness! Footsteps! It never tired. It just kept coming. We didn't stand a chance. Wherever we turned, we could not escape. Never escape!
The Minotaurs are a successor chapter of unknown origin. Founded during the 21st so-called Cursed Founding, these warriors are regarded as quite possibly the most brutal Space Marines within all branches of the Adeptus Astartes. Distrusted by their peers of the Angels of Death and even custodians of the Golden Host, close scrutiny bears truth to the assertion that their ties to the High Lords of Terra supersedes all other responsibilities. Active from the later years of the 36th millennium, after 2 millennia of service, mysteriously, the chapter disappeared from active duty as their honor rolls were expunged from history. Their records intentionally suppressed by their closest allies, the Adeptus Administratum. These enforcers of the Imperium's bureaucracy, after millennia of inactivity, returned to the fray, exempt from even the authority of the Emperor's Holy Inquisition. Renowned for their merciless and ferocious carnage wrought in battle, these stubborn killers refuse to follow the orders of commanders they deem unworthy. Tithing their gene seed at their own convenience to the Mechanicum Magos Inviglia, indicators of their chimeric gene seed lineage have caused the spread of rumors that their gene seed may bear relationship to that of traitor stock. Famed for their combating of the Light Lords and Iron Warriors within the Andromaque system of Abaddon the Despoiler's 8th Black Crusade, suppression of the Macarian heresy, and defense of Hermetica, arguably their most infamous campaign would be that of the Badab War. Collaborating with loyalist chapters, seeking to bring the Astral Claws and their chapter master, Luft Huron, to justice, the scars inflicted upon their allies, the crestfallen Lamentus chapter, remain to this day despite their atonement. Committing the entirety of their chapter to the campaign during the 4th year of the war, the Minotaurs fought independently from their peers, yet regardless exacted a heavy toll on the forces of the Tyrant of Badab. Aiding the Crimson Fist chapter during the reclamation efforts of their homeworld, Rin's world, the harrowing of the Night Reapers of the Larnard Rifts, and enacting exterminatus actions against the Maynarch Dynasty tombworlds of the Orphean War, the war record of these deadly Astartes are more varied than a cursory glance may suggest. Due to their proclivity to unleash ruin with no regard for casualties, unfounded assertions that their gene line descends from the Iron Warriors has done little to impact their status as the chosen liquidators of the High Lords of Terra. Quick to respond to any and all calls to arms issued by the High Lords of Terra, the Minotaurs have excelled in operations requiring the purge of disloyal Space Marines. Earning a fell reputation as kin killers, the Ultramarines and their descendants refuse to fight beside the Minotaurs due to their near annihilation of the Inceptors chapter. Pinning their enemies between their lines before crushing them with overwhelming firepower, none are permitted to escape their wrath should they surrender or seek forgiveness. Their fortress monastery, besieged by the Death Guard Traitor Legion 7th Company following the birth of the Great Rift across the stars, despite their success in repelling the invaders, much of their gene seed stock showed signs of infection by the Plague God. Outfitting their immense relic warship, the Daedalus Crater, as their mobile fortress monastery, its sheer size dwarfs all other Imperial voidcraft, with exception given to the Imperial Fist flagship, the Phalanx. Embarking upon an Imperial crusade to reach Holy Terra, their mission to acquire pure genetic materials would coincide with petition from the Administratum to purge the High Lords of Terra of corrupt individuals during the Hexarchy Rebellion. Among the first to receive Primaris Space Marine reinforcements of any chapter upon their arrival to Terra, the Minotaurs aided the Indomitas Crusade among the ranks of the Crusade fleet, Secundus. Their involvement as part of Task Force Faustus 3 and 4 to retake the Bosphori system from the Thousand Suns exemplified their impeccable war record against even such dangerous foes. Somewhat Codex compliant in their organization structure, their combat doctrine deviates extremely from the guidelines of the revered Battle Tome. Committing excessive amounts of warriors to every engagement, the Minotaurs refuse to operate in small teams, due to their proclivity for siege warfare and concentrated barrages. Callous in their destructive tendencies, it is by no means a relief for besieged citizens to behold the banner of the Minotaurs should they descend from the heavens, their sheer firepower leveling entire hive cities should such actions enable victory. Masters of attritional warfare, dependent on confined engagement zones, senior officers of the chapter accept the loss of battle brothers willingly, for in their mind, war is simply a calculus of enemy slain to kinsmen felled. Supplied with armaments, vehicles, and recruits more superior in quality than possibly any other chapter of the Adeptus Astartes, their loyalty to the High Lords of Terror permits them high amounts of Vindicator and Predator tanks to be used in the field of war. Their armory filled to the brim with Terminator, Void-modified Mark III Iron Pattern, and rare Mark VIII Errant patterns of power armor. Their stock of among the finest power weapons and even Riser pattern plasma weapons are the envy of many a chapter. Their elite first company, clad in Tartaros and Arkonak tactical dreadnought armor, their fleet of Storm Eagle gunships, Spartan assault tanks, and other relic vehicles are unheard of for chapters outside the heritage of the first founding. Records of the Orphean War, citing their deployment of 10 suits of Contemptor pattern dreadnoughts, the sight of a single of such venerated war suits is uncommon even among the most revered of chapters. Their kinsmen regarding such dreadnoughts as hecatons, derived from the Terran term for monster enslaved. Despite their imposing stature, the Minotaurs treat such relics of war almost as if they are mundane. Accelerating their recruitment process to easily replenish their numbers, the Minotaurs' apothecaries' use of psycho-indoctrination and neurocerebral surgeries facilitates obscenely quick transitions from neophytes into full-fledged battle brothers. Highly dangerous to each subject's physical and mental well-being, the Minotaurs' disregard for weakness counters what other chapters might perceive as extreme measures. Seconding their Astartes to serve within the Death Watch only on the most singular of occasions, it seems the chapter cares not for the battle honors won within the chamber militant of the Ordo Xenos. Showing respect and submission only to the Master of Mankind and High Lords of Terror, the Minotaurs' fervent obedience to their masters contrasts starkly with their otherwise blunt arrogance to all others. Finding no glory in destroying lesser foes, the Minotaurs revel in facing worthy adversaries to test their martial skill, the example of their terrifying chapter master, Asterion Moloch, causing them to come to blows with the Genesis chapter of Astartes, Sisters of Battle, and even the Adeptus Custodes. Their fleet comprised of a battle barge and 8 strike cruisers, some of which forcibly taken from the Lamenter's chapter during the Badab War, though as many as 2 battle barges and several strike cruisers under their command have been destroyed in recent millennia. The chapter cares only should they have earned a worthy death. Brooding in nature and showing little to no interest in displaying battle honors upon their armor, the blood spilled from their spite-fueled rampages seems prize enough for these malicious space marines. Clad in bronze ceramite, typically with no variance in color scheme, only veterans are permitted to adorn their pauldron with dark crimson paint, marking their tactical role with white stencils on their right pauldron. Few Astartes utilize company nor squad markings on their armor, though known to themselves, their use of Helican glyph markings display with pride their gloried kills against worthy enemies. The symbol of their chapter, a black horned, red bull's head on a field of bronze, strikes fear into the hearts of both mortals and immortals alike, for such a sign harkens only pain and misery. Hurling themselves into the thickest of fighting, instilled with unbridled fury, these unpredictable, unreliable, and unrelenting warriors are a menace to any who fight beside them, and a nightmare to those who oppose them. Now assimilating Primara Space Marines into their ranks, this already formidable chapter continues to outperform the vast majority of their contemporaries, retaining their constant full complement of Astartes and pedigree as among the most accomplished Space Marine chapters.